Hey, Mama, welcome back to the 19th episode of the Triboro Podcast.
It's been a while.
It has been a while. So you're probably wondering, we thought you people were dead. We are not dead. We are college students. We don't know what time management is. By we, I mean me. I do not know what time management is. Work crazy.
Yes. The life of a college student is crazy, and sometimes you lose track of time.
Time is a construct.
That's what I'm saying. So, did we really lose any time?
What are we doing?
Is time even a thing? What is
What?
time?
What?
But
Isn't this a baseball podcast?
is that what this is?
This is a baseball podcast?
Oh shit! About what?
Balls?
Baseballs, yeah.
Baseballs.
But like, what team?
What? What's a team?
Is that us?
Holy shit, that's us.
We're talking about those dumbass teams.
Those idiots?
Maybe it's a good thing that we stopped
Yeah.
recording. God damn. But we'll get into that. We'll
Yeah.
talk about it.
And back to the hectic intros.
Yeah, love that.
Well, you got anything else to say?
It's good to be back.
Bronxosaurus Rex.
Now entering the Bronx.
Welcome back to the Bronx, everyone. I just realized we never introduced ourselves again in the intro.
Oh,
I, Justin.
I guess.
He, Nick. O'Brien. Alonzo.
Yankee, Mets,
Yes, Batman.
Batman. Don't copyright strike us. Is that how that works? I don't think so.
I don't know. I would just
So the Yankees
Yankees.
lose
They did lose
a lot.
the
Yeah.
games.
Not a
a
lot
lot.
of games.
No, a lot of games.
Eh,
For the Yankees, you lost
the
a lot of
Yankees.
games. You lost a mucho amount of games.
Mucho games.
Mucho gameo.
So real
yeah.
quick, I want your thoughts on the season as a whole. One word. Okay, that works.
Just stupid.
Yeah.
From every point of view, it was stupid.
Mm-hmm.
From making 2 trades at the deadline where you literally DFA'd one of them, not moments later, you took too long to call up the kids, and they played by far their best baseball. They had the best record in baseball over like a month or two span when the kids were up. Obviously, that actually correlated with Judge also being healthy. Regardless,
Mm-hmm.
but still, that's just like everything they did was a mistake, and I'm worried that them playing well at the end of the year is gonna hurt them.
Yeah.
In the sense of they'll be like, oh, we played well at the end of the year with the team we have. Run it back again for the
Right.
17th year in a row.
Yeah.
And just, I'm going to get into more of that later.
But what are you getting into? What are we doing?
We are doing player grades.
La 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 la.
Yes. You can't catch me. We are doing player grades for the season. Pretty much, we're not gonna go in depth on every player.
Yeah.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna go over pretty much every player that like played on the team, had somewhat of a prominent role. Just give a grade, and yeah.
Quick hits.
Yeah. So I decided like just to start my grades. So we're gonna start with our hitters, and then we're gonna go pitchers, all that. So I kind of lumped them in like not weird groups, but like positional groups.
Yeah.
But I also like grouped the kids together just to
Okay.
start it out with. So first off, I start with Anthony Volpe. I'm just curious what you would have given Volpe.
I probably would have given him like a B minus.
I did a B.
Okay.
15th rookie to have a 2020 season, most likely winning a Gold Glove.
Yeah.
Wasn't consistent, but he's also a rookie.
Yeah.
He was on offense that was one of the worst in the leagues. So you can't expect a rookie to be that guy out of the gate.
Yeah.
There's going to be some that are, but it's unfair expectations to put that on him.
Right.
So that's why I said a B. I
Yeah.
thought like it wasn't pretty over the long haul, but
No.
definitely were a lot of flashes that
He had some hot streaks.
Yes.
Where like, okay, this is the
exactly
guy.
some
This
chicky
is
chicky parm parm.
yeah, exactly.
Then another one. So Oswaldo Cabrera, I gave him a D plus because
That's generous.
I didn't. I'll explain why in a
Yeah.
second. It's just a thing of I was gonna give him an F, but the only saving grace he did have was he played in 115 games,
Right.
so he was kind of like a body you could at least throw
Right.
out
He's
there.
reliable.
And his OPS wasn't good, but I think it was about 600.
Mm.
A lot better than I thought it was.
Mm.
So that's just like.
600 being a lot better than he thought it was tells the whole story.
But the reason why is I couldn't give him a lower grade than Pereira.
Mhm.
And for Everson Pereira, I gave him a D minus. He had a 427 OPS in 27 games.
427.
Yeah.
I did not know it was
That's
like
what I was
that.
saying. I didn't know either. But that's what I was saying. Like, I couldn't give Oswaldo a worse grade than that.
Yeah, that's fair.
So it's like,
That's fair.
and the only reason I'm saying D minus and not an F, small sample size,
Yep.
rookie, and just, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
The usual rookie. Not scapegoats, but kind of like
yeah, I get what you mean.
excuses. Kind of.
Yeah, kind of
Like,
like
passes. Kind
you
of like
give him
leeway.
benefit of the. I was gonna say benefit of the doubt, but
Same thing.
same thing. Up next, Oswald Peraza. This was generous. I gave him a C plus,
Mm.
and so he only played 52 games. Where that was part of the reason why is like, you didn't give him a lot of playing time.
No.
That
No.
is on the team for not giving him the playing time. That's why I was being more generous with his grades.
Yeah.
He hit 191, but it's also a thing of I don't have the numbers in front of me. But the last week of the season, he was or last like 2-3 weeks, whatever. He was significantly better.
Mhm.
He had like multiple. There was like a week he had like 3 or 4 3-hit games.
Right.
So it's like stuff like that where like he was
adjusted.
definitely he definitely did adjust. Defense always gonna be incredible.
Right.
And then Austin Wells, I gave him a B. I was considering a B plus. Well, what?
Go on. Because
Um,
maybe I don't know the whole picture. So
because you have to think about a lot of things.
yeah.
One, he's a catcher.
Yep.
So 743 OPS from a catcher, pretty good.
Never.
Made his major league debut. And it was also a thing of when he first started or when he first came up, he was not good.
Yeah.
He was just not good. But to have a 743 OPS on the year shows that he definitely did improve overall. Showed a lot better signs.
Yeah.
The main reason he got a B in my book was the defense. That was the biggest question mark by far.
Yep.
And again, we didn't go like deep into all players because we have like 30 players we're going over, so
Right.
I don't want to get that deep in all of them. Definitely got acclimated a lot more. His defense was incredible. It was not like in top of the league, but it was like above average, a good
Yeah.
bit above average.
Right.
That's all you could ask
Yeah.
for.
You can stick it behind the plate. That's what
Exactly.
matters.
And I think that just because it also is an expectations thing
Oh yeah.
of he didn't really have that much time to play.
No.
And it's just, I don't know. I think a lefty catcher that's great defense plus offense is going to give you good offense. I
Right.
think that's what I'm saying.
That's all you can ask from
Yeah.
a catcher.
But
I
nice-
think, yeah,
you go.
those first couple of weeks or month,
Horrible.
I think that's what stuck in my head. So that's why I was a little
Yeah.
not I guess confused, but reading off what you did, I think what you said B minus,
B.
B, yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I probably would have given more of like a C, C plus, but
Was also respectively to a catcher. And
yeah,
Like young kid. It's just like,
right.
yeah.
I get your reasoning.
I gave a
behind it.
lot more leeway to the. Because another thing, too, we're basing these off expectations.
Right.
That's like a big thing.
Yeah,
I gave a lot more leeway to the younger kids.
fair.
So then kind of just like the catchers. So Jose Trevino, I gave him a B minus because he still was incredible behind the plate.
Yeah,
Offense fell off a cliff, but he also did get hurt.
right.
Whereas like I didn't know how to like do injuries.
Yeah,
Really, I
it's
didn't know how to
hard.
like affect it that much. And then Higgy, this one shocked me looking at the numbers. I gave him a B. But he's your like third string
Yeah.
catcher. He had 10 home runs.
He had
And he was
10 home
solid behind the
runs.
plate.
Good for him.
So but
Good
that's
for
what I mean.
Higgy.
It's like
And what he's Cole's personal catcher, right?
yeah.
Yeah, so
It's
give
like
him some props
in
there
a-
too.
in a bigger role, he's not getting a B.
Yeah,
Like if you swap him and Trevino's stats, he's getting like a D.
yeah,
But he's a backup catcher.
right.
So it's like I don't. It's
Thanks.
Yeah, it's like it's solid.
Appreciate it.
So then I'm going to like the infield.
Yeah.
Rizzo, I am giving him an A because
Okay.
because he was a top 3 first baseman in baseball
Yeah.
before Fernando Tatis decided to be a dick. So he's in my book an A. He played 2 months with a concussion where he was the worst hitter in baseball.
Yeah.
So you can't just look at his numbers. His numbers look horrible in the year. It is on the Yankees. How you can let a player play for 2 months with a concussion
Malpractice.
when he's saying that he feels hungover every game and he can barely open his eyes, when you're playing in front of 45,000 fans every day, when you have night games with those bright ass lights. I get migraines. I know how much that sucks. I can't imagine how bad a concussion is compared to that.
Right.
So, in my book, he gets an A for that just because of how
He battled.
great he was, and then that's not his fault. It's on
Yeah.
because the player's gonna say I'm gonna play.
Right.
Like I hate people that are like, oh, if they know they're not good, what they should like take the seat out. No, if you're a player and you're like the type of player Rizzo is, where he grinds through everything,
Right.
he's gonna want to play.
Yeah.
So it's just
Malpractice on the Yankees. Hope Rizzo's doing better,
yeah.
but an A is understandable.
Yeah. Then Glaber, who there's so many people that are gonna disagree with this grading, B plus.
Okay.
He had in like a lot of the thing I was saying a B,
Mhm.
but then there were a lot of things that I saw that really made me give a B plus. Like he played 158 games last year.
Right.
So he didn't get hurt, played essentially every day, -3 or 4 games,
Right.
whatever. He had the second highest OPS on the team with 800. That's an issue.
Mm.
And I would have given him an A, but he did have those goofball moments.
Yeah.
So that's why like I did, because I've always been one of the people that like I think that they were kind of over exaggerated,
Mhm.
just because like what the other numbers is. Oh yeah, also 25 home runs.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention that.
From a second baseman.
Second baseman played great defense.
Yeah.
So I think that the goofball moments you definitely do have to like take a little away,
Yeah.
but I still think like a B plus is fair for that.
Definitely.
Jake Bowers, I didn't know how to grade this one.
Yeah.
Because it is one of those things of like, let me say, I gave him a C minus.
Mhm.
Because when he came up, because keep in mind it's also expectations.
Right.
At first when he came
And you
up,
really liked him too.
I literally put in my notes at one point it would have been an A.
Yeah.
When he first came up, he was incredible. Like he was one of the best hitters on the team. But then there was a span of like 100 at bats where he struck out in half of them.
Right.
So it's like he cooled down significantly, but they were still running him out there
Yeah.
every single day.
Right.
So that's not necessarily his fault. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's fighting to stay on the roster, so of course he's gonna be like, he
Yeah.
sees him.
I'm in the lineup today. All right.
Okay.
Let's go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's a thing with those type of players, those journeymen, kind of minor league
Yeah.
deals, where like, yeah, you'll catch lightning in a bottle for a month, but then they're gonna be really bad at one point.
Yeah. So that's like the thing of like, and those are the hardest people to grade.
Oh, definitely.
So it's like I went like C minus. That's
Yeah.
kind of like.
Plus, when you look at those guys, you're not expecting a whole lot
Yeah.
from them. It's kind of like, all right, if you can add any value whatsoever,
Yeah.
great.
Get value, and then once they're done, DFA 'em.
Exactly.
Then up next, IKF. My expectations were literally negative
Yeah.
for him. So because of that, he gets a B.
That's
Because
fair.
the expectations were so low. Because look, he played 115 games, played pretty good defense because it's almost like he's not a shortstop. And I don't have the numbers, but I know he had around like a 338 batting average with runners in scoring position.
Right.
He was clutch, did that, played his role, and that's why like I think if you do your job solidly, I think that's a B to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He thrived in that utility role,
Yeah.
which I may or may not have mentioned 1,000 times.
Shut up. The last infielder I have is Josh Donaldson.
Oh.
I don't think I have to go into depth this one.
Hey, bud.
I'm gonna read word for word off my notes. F, comma, see ya, bitch.
Yeah.
Moving into the outfielders. So, you know what? I might as well go back to backs with this one. Aaron Hicks, F. Goodbye.
Finally.
Willie Calhoun, I gave him a C. It's kind of like the same thing with Bowers,
Yeah.
where like he was hot for a while,
Right.
and like he was really good for that while.
Yeah.
Then he cooled off, but they just like
Kept running him out there.
kept running him
Same
out
thing.
there, and like the whole thing.
I'm
Where
starting to see a pattern here.
oh yeah, me too. Then Harrison Bader, I didn't know how to grade him. That was like another one.
Yeah.
I went with a C.
Okay.
Just because
That's fair.
a 643 OPS from a center fielder, especially when he's playing at that elite of a center field, isn't bad.
Yeah.
It's like, but I think it was a lot more amplified because of the other guys that aren't hitting.
Right.
So I think that in a better offense, you'd probably get like a B.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think it's kind of just like a thing of
Context.
context, people around him,
Yeah.
and also the injuries.
Right.
That was like another thing too.
Shocker.
Why yada. This one, I don't know if I was harsh on this one or not. Stanton, F.
I can't blame you. I probably give him like a D. but-
F. I just played 101 games, so the injuries were bad.
Continue.
Yeah, and I know batting average isn't the whole story. He had a 191 average.
That's still
Stanton's the type of guy that, like, when he's at his best, he's hitting around 260.
right.
260, 270. That's when, like, he's just consistently making that hard contact.
Yeah.
And the more reason why is because his swings just looked horrible. He just looks so slow
Mm.
at the plate that's what it's more of the what you see that's an F. I think I'm still giving him. I'm not saying a benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
I still think you give him like a month or two in the season to see if he can try and tweak it. Then I think it like becomes really like if he can't fix it, then it's time to like
Look
is
in
he
the
gone?
mirror.
Like
Yeah.
like,
Some
do you
deep
trade him?
reflection.
yeah. So it's like
And unless you're Kyle Schwarber and you're hitting almost 50 home runs, you
Yeah.
cannot be batting below 200.
especially with his on base too.
Yeah.
Doesn't he get on base a lot?
Yo, Schwarber, yeah.
Yeah. So that's another thing too. And then Judge, I just A plus.
Yeah.
I just he had going from hitting 62 home runs, being the captain, getting
Massive contract.
is that the highest for a position player AAV? 40 mil?
It might be tied with Trout. Is
No, I thought Charles was like
no?
37,
he?
38.
It might be.
One or two, regardless.
Yeah.
Insane deal. Then to go 37 home runs and won 6 games. Keep in mind, if it wasn't for the Dodgers having the worst stadium in baseball, he probably plays a full season.
Yeah.
And like I also like did the math. This is like the only thing I did the math on. He was on a 47 homer pace. Still played great defense. Was the captain. You saw it when this is another reason why it's an A plus. When he went down, the offense was literally unwatchable. It was unwatchable when he went down
Yeah.
those games.
Yeah.
So that's just like the impact that you really feel.
Definitely.
A 1.019 OPS. So obviously he's insane.
Amazing.
The only year he's had a below 900 OPS was in COVID year,
Right.
and he only played I think 28 games, just
Yeah.
like off the top of my head.
Right.
God, I love my memory. That's really all I have for the hitters, unless you want to like add anything.
What about DJ?
Oh my God,
Did you skip him over?
I did. I knew I was forgetting someone.
Okay. I wanted to wait till you were done before I said anything.
Let me see if I saw the page. I do have the page open, so I could just because I did it in like a really weird way.
Okay.
All right, we're doing some live grading.
Yeah, exactly. Bear with us. Thank you, Baseball Reference.
Not even MLB.
Oh.
Yeah, because they have all the players.
Fair enough.
Okay, so you got 136 games. You have 15 home runs. Strikeouts were a little high at 125 for him. 717 OPS. I'm gonna go with a C plus because there was like a 2-month span where like he was incredible.
Yeah.
But there were also other times when he was just not good at all. So I think they didn't really know what they wanted to do with him.
Yeah.
Because there were some games he was batting leadoff, some the 5 holes, some
Right.
just like completely random spots. The versatility, that definitely is a plus. Just being able to play anywhere in the infield.
Yep.
I think that him and Stan is going to be very telling
Mm-hmm.
in the next like year, like the offseason. Like it's gonna be very interesting to see what they. I don't think they're gonna trade DJ. I don't think that's on the table.
Yeah.
But just seeing how moves they make in the offseason are gonna affect them.
Yep.
I think that's definitely gonna be interesting overall.
Something to watch.
See what they do.
Yeah, definitely.
Good catch.
You're welcome.
Anything else?
I'm good like that. Well, I think you hit everything.
Got it.
We don't gotta talk about Franchi Cordero.
Yeah, I didn't even put him down here.
Exactly. We don't have to talk about him.
I didn't even put him down
You
here.
don't have to
There's
talk
only
about
one person on my gradings that would have gotten a worse grade than Franchi Cordero. Actually two. So, you know what? We'll go with Cole first off.
Yeah.
A plus.
Start nice.
A plus. I just think that
He's winning the Cy Young.
he's
Good for him.
2.63 ERA. He only lit up 20 home runs, which you look at the narrative going into the season. He had 32 home runs given up last year, something
Yeah.
crazy like that in the 30s. That was a narrative going into the year. Cut it down by almost a third,
Yeah.
more than a third. So I think that was just massive. I think that the crazy thing, he pitched over 200 innings. He had a 4.5 strikeout to walk ratio.
There you go.
I think that was just
Incredible.
insane.
Incredible.
206 batting average against, like that. Those are just crazy numbers. Like you said, probably gonna win the Cy Young. I'd be shocked if he doesn't.
Exactly.
I picked him. I'm awesome. And then flip flopping. Actually, no wait. Let me do the. No, I'll get the bad out of the way. Carlos Rodon, F. I can't really count, but that's probably about 30 minuses.
Probably deserves
Just-
more.
Just the injuries, just not getting an out against the fucking Royals.
Yeah.
That was just.
Like, I wasn't high on Rodon.
But
and
this
I
is
didn't
like-
But this was beyond what I could have
Yeah.
imagined.
You just gotta hope it's a lost year.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm like really hoping on.
Yeah.
Just
Because he had some flashes where his stuff
did,
looked
yeah.
good, but then he had some flashes where
Yes.
his stuff was flat. His fastball wasn't fast. His slider wasn't sliding.
Yeah. So it's just I'm hoping he can find a way to. I'm just hoping it's a lost year.
Yeah.
I think that's all you can really leave it at. This one hurts me to say so much. Luis Severino, F.
Horrible.
Just
What a horrible year.
a combination between the injuries. Yes, 6.65 ERA in 18 games. Just probably not gonna be on the Yankees again,
Yeah.
and just
He's a Dodger or a Ray or a
It's
Guardian.
it's gonna suck.
Someone with a
Just-
pitching lab.
That's why
It's
the Yankees
unfortunate.
have one, but not for starters.
Yeah.
It's just
It's an unfortunate turn of events.
that one hurts me to say so
Yeah.
badly. Another one that hurts to say, Nestor. I gave him a D.
Okay.
I was considering D plus or even C minus
Yeah.
because he had a 4.67 ERA on the year in 12 games. He was hurt for a vast majority of the year, but the reason why I didn't give him like an F, just like based off expectations, off that, is because the third time through the order killed him.
Yeah.
But they kept sending him out there the third time through the order.
Right.
It's one of those things of if you know that a guy is just straight up not good with something, why are you making him do it?
Yeah.
There is no point to doing that because you're hurting the team, you're hurting him. It's just
Bad managing.
yes. And then for the starters, at least, the last person, actually, yeah, for the pitching, really, the last person that is getting a bad grade, Domingo Germán, F. I don't give a shit about the perfect game. He is a horrible person. I do not want this man on my team. DFA him, non-tender him, whatever the terminology is for whatever the contract is. He better not get a contract with his team next year. And if he does, he better, at best, be the fucking ball boy. At best. No, he should be the netting in the batting cages.
He's the netting. Yeah.
He's the netting in the batting cage. Yeah, I don't like him. Then this one may be surprising. Clark, I'm giving a B minus. You may not like. You look at those numbers, you'd be like, no, with a 4.64 ERA.
Yeah.
But he started off horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Like he started off absolutely horrible. And then there was for the pretty much the rest of the season on, he was the second best pitcher that the Yankees had. And kind of hard to be the best when you had Garrett Cole literally winning the Cy Young.
Right.
And he did have his Tanaka games. So by Tanaka games, I mean where if anyone remembers Tanaka, how he would literally have 4 or 5 incredible starts and then not make it out of the first inning and give up 9 runs. He had those type of games.
Right.
But he also had other games where he would go 6 innings. And
Yeah.
He would pitch incredible. He would let up a run or two. And I think probably the most important thing, at least in my book, 32 games started.
Yeah.
That is literally the most you could have without being the ace.
Chad innings eater.
So that's just like, that's what? You multiply that by 5, that's 160.
Yeah.
That's literally as much as he could have started.
Yeah, basically.
Like, I think Cole led the team with 33.
Yeah.
So it's like that. I think
He's available.
a B minus, a B, I think that's very fair for him. But I think you go B minus just because the downs were like
Really, really
horrible.
down. Yeah.
Then speaking of another guy that was very up and down, Joni Brito, as my mom likes to call him, Burrito. I love you, Mom. So I give him a B. He had a 4.28 ERA and 13 games started. I'm curious to see what his ERA would have been without the Twins game where he got 1 out and let up 7 runs.
Yeah.
So and also there was no expectations, not a high ranked prospect.
Right.
I think it's fair for a B.
Yeah, you said what was it? 4.24?
4.28.
4.28. That's more than you can ask for. That's a very solid starter. Like, again,
Yeah.
like you said, not a lot of expectations going into him, but definitely I wouldn't say reliable, but he took the ball and he, for the most part, he gave
Yeah.
the team a chance to win. So that's all you can ask for.
Yeah. Then, just kind of like another young guy that didn't really have too many expectations. A guy, Randy Vasquez. I gave him an A. I just think that. Did you expect that?
No.
He had a 2.87 ERA in 11 games, 5 of them started. Barely had any expectations.
Yeah.
His stuff looked absolutely disgusting. So I just.
That makes sense.
I think like when you consider expectations, that's incredible.
Yeah.
So it's like if I gave Brito a B with a 4.28 ERA,
Fair enough.
then you know what I mean. And
Fair enough.
Vasquez had even less because he wasn't on the opening day rotation.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah. And then, so this is kind of my segue because I don't know who he is. Michael King. I gave him an A. A 2.75 ERA with 49 games and 9 games started. And I think there is a very strong argument that he was a better starter than a reliever.
Yeah.
I want to say he had about like a 1.3 ERA as a starter in those 9 games. So, and he's auditioning for a starting role next year. So
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things that
You have to gotta keep an eye on him now.
is he. Oh, this way. Ooh,
Hot
this
take incoming.
steaming. Is he the second best pitcher on this team?
A healthy Rodon takes that, but
But that's the issue.
Yeah, if
you
you-
can't say healthy when
if
that's a
you
big
look-
question mark.
at the roster the way it is now,
Is he the second best pitcher on this team?
seeing how he ended the season as well,
And how he was last year as well.
I think there's an argument.
I
to
think
be
there's a
had.
very strong, like, just looking at the numbers now, like, that just, like, crossed my, is he actually the second best pitcher on this team right now?
Yeah.
That's great.
That's great. They can have a guy like that, but that's also
Mm,
really bad when you're paying guys the amount you're paying.
yeah. That's crazy to think about. All right. Up next. So, this one, I did not think I would be giving him this grade because I did not know his ERA was sub 3. Clay Holmes, A. 24 saves and 27 opportunities. He hit the under. Let's go.
I was close.
25 and a half.
I was close.
2 off.
I was very close.
2 off. No, so he had his blow up games.
Yeah.
He started off horrible to begin the year. I was shocked when I saw he finished with a sub 3. That's just he did his
Props to
job.
him.
Props to him.
Figuring it out.
Yeah.
Could have had a couple more saves, but whatever. I'm not keeping count. It
I
doesn't
am.
matter.
I am. Ian Hamilton.
Where did
A
he come
plus.
from?
A plus. Came out of absolutely nowhere. He was he was a stud. The injuries just hurt him.
Yeah, definitely.
I know not as many games, not as many innings. Would you believe he had the lowest ERA on the team?
Really?
Yeah.
What was it?
I think it was like 2.64. I didn't write it down, but
Yeah.
I have the tab open right now.
But no, that's one of those things.
2.64, yeah.
Nice. You catch lightning in a bottle. You know, sometimes it's for a couple
Well,
months.
Cole had a
sometimes-
lower one, but
Yeah,
that's also Garrett
Cole's
Cole.
Cole. And, Ian Hamilton's the guy that grabbed off the street.
Yeah, exactly.
So, again, it's one of those things where you catch lightning in a bottle and you hope it lingers. And for Hamilton, it did, besides the injuries.
I think he's real, though.
Yeah.
I think that is one of those guys that Matt Blake sees something. He had a disgusting pitch. All they did was make him throw that pitch.
Right.
He was absolutely disgusting with
Yeah.
it. So I think he's for real. It could be. It's also a thing of relievers are like kickers in the NFL,
Mm-hmm.
where they have it, and then they just don't.
Right.
And then randomly again in 3 years they have it again.
Yeah.
So it is very hard to like kind of grade relievers
Right.
overall.
Yeah, definitely.
And then moving on from Wandy A.
Yeah.
His nuts were bigger than everyone else's. He literally that's all you could really say.
Yeah.
Just
Good, reliable, old Wandy.
I felt most comfortable other than King.
Yeah.
I felt most comfortable when he was in the game.
Makes
so
sense. Makes sense.
Johnny Lasagna. I give him a B. Looked good coming off injury.
Yeah.
He had some very bad points, but still came off injury.
Yeah.
Solid B. Marinaccio. This was a tough one to grade because I didn't really know what I expected more, but I didn't know what the overall expectations were.
Yeah.
So I gave him a B minus
Okay.
because he was up and down.
Yeah.
Like I said, also a reliever, was a back end guy.
Right.
So I didn't really know how to, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Relievers, like you said, are the toughest to
Yeah.
grade out.
Canley, I give him a B. It's crazy to say I'm giving him a B when he had a 2.66 ERA.
Yeah.
The only reason why is he did have some games that were just absolutely horrible. When his
Yeah.
changeup was not changing, it was going up in the air into the seats.
Yeah.
So that was the issue that I had with him. But like I could definitely see a B plus, B plus, whatever.
Right.
But it's just there were some games. It's just he lost them a couple games.
Yeah.
It's just granted he won them a couple games, but it's like it's also tough because he's a reliever, so that's just how they work.
Right. Right. But
So
I
it's-
think that's a fair grade for him.
Yeah. Then Nick Ramirez, I give him a B plus. He had the same ERA as Canley.
Good for
That-
him.
Those were just a lot of guys I wanted to highlight.
Yeah.
Because pretty much all those guys that I just highlighted had a sub 3 ERA.
Right.
There may have been some that were like a tick above, whatever. I think Marinaccio was like in the 4s, but like
Mhm.
still. So then I also did like some front office people, or not front. I did like coaches.
Yeah.
So I didn't do Boone, but I probably would have given Boone a B, just because I really don't think.
Given the roster he was handed,
There's
I
not
mean,
much.
What
Yeah.
What do you expect him to do?
Matt Blake gave him an A. Just every year he turns these nobodies into somebodies.
Yeah.
Like literally looking at the guys that I just listed off, Ian Hamilton and Nick Ramirez.
Yeah.
Last year, Marinaccio. Was it last year? No, it was either last year or the year before that. Holmes and Wandy.
Right.
So it's like there's these guys that he just added even the Randy Vasquez too, going to the starters. He's had a positive effect on Michael King. And it's just like things like that
Yeah.
where it's like I just don't see how people are saying like fire him.
Right.
What?
Yeah.
He's their best coach. Leading it to
Definitely.
coaches that aren't as good as him. Hitting coaches, F.
Yeah.
Whichever one you want to pick. I don't think Sean Casey was that bad,
No.
but just
I don't think he.
I want to be
helped,
angry.
per se.
I wanna be
it
angry.
Didn't make it worse, at least.
I want to be angry, so they're getting an F. And now, for my worst grade, Brian Cashman. Z.
Wow. I didn't even know it went that far.
He's getting a Z.
He's getting the last letter.
No,
of the
he's getting
alphabet.
3 Z's. Because he's fucking sleeping all the time. Not doing anything. Like I said earlier, he made 2 trades at the deadline. And the thing that I'm most mad about him, that I've been saying for years, Bryce Harper, Corey Seager. We're literally saying, I want to be Yankee, I want to be Yankee, I want to be Yankee. But no, we have Jacoby Ellsbury, Aaron Hicks, Clint Frazier.
Where's Clint Frazier now? White Sox? I think he was with the White Sox.
I don't know. But you have guys that are literally begging to be Yankees, but this bald motherfucker is saying no.
No.
These guys, literally look at what Harper and Seager did in the playoffs.
And some are still currently doing.
Just incredible.
Yeah.
And a guy that I didn't even mention, I completely forgot to mention until I was talking, because I was talking about playoffs. Jordan Montgomery. They didn't think he would be in the postseason rotation. Look at what he did.
He's
in
getting
the playoffs.
He's gonna get himself a
He's
bag
gonna
and
get
a half.
so much money.
Too much money.
So
But
much
good for
money.
him.
Yeah. So just
Fix your evaluating.
yes. Oh, I didn't even talk about that. The audit.
Oh yeah.
Now the Yankees said that they were going to be doing an internal audit on the organization. And then a week later, it came out that's not what they were doing. Do you know what they're actually auditing?
What?
They are auditing an MLS team to see how they run their analytics.
Interesting.
An MLS team, when you were trying to improve
Now, to be fair,
baseball.
I don't know much about
analytics,
soccer, but I don't think they're using a bat.
you could not be more different. They use their feet. You use your arms.
Get some R studio in there and call it a day.
No, it's that's just
Frustrating. Especially when you think that they're going to get some independent auditor to actually look into the team and
tell
you
them
know,
what they're doing wrong.
right, and hopefully improve the team. When it's like, we're going to look at a completely different sport and compare with us. See how we're doing. And then we're going to realize, hey, this is really different. So we can't use any of that information.
Imagine how Steinbrenner says, "Oh, you guys are pretty shit at what you do," and then they just look at him like, "What?
Nuh-uh.
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 Nuh-uh."
Look at this. Look at Aaron Judge. Ooh.
You mean the guy that you got lucky didn't sign with the A's?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's really all I got, because if we talked about the front office, we'd be here for 5 hours, so I don't want to make us be here for 5 hours.
Now, overall team grade
I didn't give one,
on the
but
spot. Yeah, that's why I'm saying it.
D.
Fair.
Because you had so many more expectations
Yeah.
going into the season.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys graded out individually better than I expected.
Mm-hmm.
But just
It's a team made up of mismatched parts.
yeah.
It's like the island of misfits toys.
Yeah.
You
And then
have-
Aaron Judge and Garrett Cole.
Yeah, exactly.
You have like 5 people that actually belong there, and then you just have like
it's like the meme of like the rundown house with a Lamborghini in
Yeah.
the parking in the
I know what you mean.
driveway.
Yeah.
That's the
That's-
Yankees.
Yeah.
So they got some work to do.
Some. If Juan Soto's available, yes.
You
Yes.
give
Everything.
anybody not under contract.
It's so hard with me and Dominguez though.
I give up Dominguez for so. But that can be a discussion for another day.
I just want to say this: the money. That's all that
Yeah.
it comes down to for me.
Yeah,
It's
like-
just. It's the money. I would give up Volpe before Dominguez. I just can't do it with the money.
Mm-hmm.
To give up Dominguez when Dominguez is more. I won't. We can't get into this. We
Yeah,
can't
exactly.
get into this.
Yeah.
What would you say for the grade?
I would give them a C.
Hmm.
Now, the only reason I'm giving them a C,
Because you're comparing them to the Mets.
no, it's because I'm giving them not necessarily a benefit of the doubt, but you did misjudge for a good chunk of the year. I know.
No, I know. Finish what you're gonna say.
You made Rizzo play for concussion for a good chunk of the year, which is on the Yankees. So, whatever. What was their record? They were above 500,
84
right?
and whatever.
Look, 84, the 84-win Diamondbacks are in the World Series. 84 wins is not a bad year for any other team not named the Yankees. Obviously, the Yankees hold themselves to a higher
It's
standard.
also the expectations of going into the year.
Correct. But an above 500 record is not a complete failure. Although, given the context of where the team's at, what you tried doing in the offseason, how the division shook up, that I can consider a failure.
Yes.
But I will give them a C because I think a lot of things just didn't go their way.
You see, you could say that, but they've been saying that for how many years?
Right.
You can't, like, it's one of those things where it's like, it literally is insanity because they're trying the same thing over and over and it doesn't go their way. Like, oh,
Right.
it didn't go our way.
Yeah.
Yeah, then make it go your way.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's so many things you can make it where it's so much more likely that it will go your way.
Right.
Like, if they would have, like, have made huge moves, like, in the offseason at the trade deadline, whatever, and it just didn't work out, but they, like, literally went all in, then,
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Sure.
They did everything, but it's, like, just the way the front office is, and they, like, put lipstick on a pig.
Yeah.
And it's, like, just...
Yeah. It comes down to injuries and poor roster construction, I think.
Yeah.
But again, I think I'll give them a C. It's kind of like,
Nope.
okay.
D.
C minus.
D.
D plus.
D.
Same thing.
D. F. Z. Z, Z, Z.
Z, 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 Z.
Z, Z, Z.
Sleepy Cashman.
Yes.
But, yeah. We now will move into Queens.
The Metropolitan.
The Metropolitan Nets.
Now entering Queens.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Queens, where we'll be talking about the New York Metropolitans and their...
Season? Can you call it a season?
I mean, the season was over in, like, July, so... Half a season? Another COVID year? That's crazy.
Their all-star break season?
Yeah, basically. Where do I even start with this team? Obviously, you're going in with lofty expectations. You know, you lose DeGrom, you sign Verlander.
Where did DeGrom go?
Texas. He went
To
Texas. To Texas.
Only real ones now.
Who are in the World Series, which makes me very sad. But you sign Verlander, you re-sign Diaz, you re-sign Nimmo, you sign David Robertson, you sign Jose Quintana. You know, you think you have something in Brett Beatty, and you know Ronnie Mauricio, Mark Vientos, and Francisco Alvarez, and all these young guys. You know, you're coming off a 101 win season, and it's World Series or bust. And boy, oh boy, did they bust. It was a very hard season to watch. Like I said, it was basically over in like July. So just the summer was just rough. Yeah. But to get into my grades for this team, I'm kind of going around the horn. So we're going to start off with hitters, and we're going to start off with Pete Alonso, first base. I gave him a B+. And I feel like some people would disagree with that. So. But, you know, he still hit 46 home runs, almost 120 RBI. But he had a career low batting average and a career low on-base percentage. So this was a season where he was more of a prototypical slugger more than he's ever been in his entire
Mm.
career. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but there were some at-bats he had where he was just flailing at anything thrown in
Yeah.
lefty's batter's box.
Also, one other thing, career lowest OPS except for the COVID year.
Right, yeah. I think that has a lot to do with the on-base percentage as well. Because he's still slugged like what? Like
504.
right. That's so fantastic, but that on-base percentage really dragged it down.
318.
Yeah, that's rough. He
Yeah.
hit like 217. You know, and you know, I will say he did get hurt. You know, he had that wrist fracture, which he probably came back a little
Forgot
too
about
early. Yeah, he probably came back a little too early from that. So I'll give him a little benefit of the doubt. That's why I'm giving him a B plus. But you know, he wasn't the prototypical Pete. You know, he hit his home runs, but that's about it.
I probably would have gone B, just because
Yeah.
of strictly because of expectations.
Yeah,
Career OPS plus 136, he had a 122.
right.
So it's just like being lower of expectations, and it's
Yeah,
like,
especially for a first
especially
baseman.
off the year he was at last year
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So
So that is Pete Alonso. Next up, going right next to him at second base. A little bit of a revolving door there, but for all intents and purposes, Jeff McNeil. This hurts. This really hurts me.
it's gonna be a rough one.
This as some of you may know or may not know, Jeff is my favorite player on this team
Really?
at the moment. Yeah.
Huh.
He's my favorite player, but I gave him a D plus, which even then I think is generous.
Yeah.
A 270 batting average. Not great from a contact guy, but considering the way he started off, 270 is respectable.
He had a higher on base than Alonso.
Yeah. So he still got on base. He had a good second half, saved a really bad down year. And it wasn't as bad as 21, but still coming off of a batting title,
Yeah.
coming off a fantastic year, probably I'd say his best year. Maybe 2019, but
Juice balls. So
yeah,
it's like,
exactly. Jeff McNeil was a big disappointment, and one of the many reasons I think why this Mets team kind of fell flat on their face. But you know, kind of like an IKF type guy. You know, he was versatile. He played second. He played left.
But his
He played
expectations were
right.
so much higher.
Yeah, he played center field this year. He's kind of all over the place. He's officially, I believe, he's played in every position in his major league career except for catcher and pitcher. So versatile is great. He's a guy to watch during this offseason. I know a lot of people like to talk about trade rumors, and McNeil's been in the center of that, but he's always in the center of that after a down year. So he has a controllable controllable contract, but I still think he's extremely valuable to this team, and I would hate to see him go. But again, you have guys coming up who could potentially replace at second base. But again, versatile, and you never know when you're going to need him. Moving next to him, his double play partner, Francisco Lindor. I struggled with this one, which is a little surprising, but I ended up with an A.
Yeah.
I almost gave him a B minus because he had a rough first half, and he was a big reason why this team wasn't firing on all cylinders, I guess, out of the gate. At one point, I believe his batting average did dip below 200, and he was a big all-or-nothing guy. He had low batting average, which, again, batting average doesn't tell the whole story, but he didn't hit singles.
For some guys, it does.
Right. He didn't hit singles. He hit a lot of doubles. He hit home runs, but that's about it. But he did end up with a 30-30 season.
I was about to say that.
And you can't take away from that. Say what you want about the stolen bases now, but 30-30 is 30-30. You can't take that away
almost
from him.
100 RBIs.
Exactly.
108 runs.
A great guy you need in the middle of that lineup. And he had a 6 WAR season.
Yeah.
It's like, I believe, definitely top 10, maybe top 5 in the league. Definitely one of the better shortstops out there. I'm glad he's on my team. But he did have some really bad moments where we could have used him, especially when Pete went down and he really didn't show up per se, which is why I struggled a little bit. But at the end of the day, I'm going to give him an A. He's still one of the best shortstops in the league. Now, moving into the outfield, because I want to save third base, because there's a little bit of
I get what
a
you mean.
kind of weird.
Like, I was going to look up who third base was. I was like, wait, who do I look up?
Yeah, exactly. So, start off outfield, Brandon Nimmo. I gave him an A-. He had a lot more power and kind of took off some of his on-base percentage. Career low on-base percentage since his rookie year in 2016. And career low being 363, which is still fantastic. But for a leadoff guy, I would rather see a higher on-base percentage than him slugging more. He had a career high in home runs at 24, so that's great. I mean, it's still, at the end of the day, it's kind of like, what does your team
What'd you give him
need
again?
more? I give him A-. But given his spot in the lineup, I would have liked to see that on base creep up to 400 again. His defense did take a step back as well, but again, he was one of the better center fielders in the league. I mean, coming off that much bigger contract than I expected, I still think he was one of the lone bright spots on this team. And he played 152 games.
That's what I was gonna say. I think that bumps him to an A- rather than a B.
Right.
I think that's the big thing.
Definitely, especially when the narrative going into it was the injuries and how long giving him the 8-year contract. I believe 8-year contract.
162.
Yeah, I think that was it. Giving that 8-year contract when he barely played over 100 games. Now he's had back-to-back years of over 150 games played. I think that's huge.
Yeah.
But moving on to left field, which another kind of weird spot. Mark Hanna started off the year there. He got traded at the deadline to the Brewers. I was sad to see him go. He's such a likable guy. He's such a great guy. I gave him a C.
On the hit by pitches.
Yeah, I gave him a C. He was fine. Again, he was just a great guy. He served his purpose on the Mets. He was like a little above average bat, so kind of more of a fourth outfielder type. Moving on to who I thought was going to be the fourth outfielder. My best friend, Tommy Pham. He surprised me, and I think he surprised a lot of people. And now he's in the World Series, so good for him. He had an 820 OPS, 10 home runs in a little under 80 games with the Mets.
Yeah.
Wow. Like, where'd that come from? I know he's probably souring a lot of Mets fans right now. Some of the comments he's made of the team.
What has he said?
He's talked about how the work ethic isn't really there. And, like, a lot of guys are kind of like, we're dogging it, essentially. But at the same time, I think
he's kind of right.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with what he's saying. But I think I just have a problem with the context that, you're in the World Series with another team and you're kind of still talking about the Mets.
Did it get, like, brought up? Like, did he just say it out of the blue, or, like...
I think, I don't know how it first came up, but I read an article the other day talking about it.
Doesn't matter.
But, and I think Pham is just a very intense player, and he's very hardworking, which is good for him. I started to like him a lot more as the year went on, just hearing things about, how he got brought up and a lot of more, getting to know Tommy Pham. He's a really good guy. He's just really hardworking. He's very intense. So I think that has to do with it. But congrats on going to the World Series, Tommy. I gave you a B. Starling Marte. Where do I begin?
Low.
So I gave him a D-. But I feel like it's a little harsh. He played 86 games. He had a career worst everything, like across the board. It's harsh, but he was absolutely horrible. He was injured a lot. and he was playing hurt, and I think you could tell.
Yeah.
And I'm shocked that they kept running him out there.
Hmm.
'Cause he got groin surgery in the off season heading into this year, and I think you could really tell that bothered him, or at least was a crutch. Um, he wasn't running well. He wasn't hitting well. He, again, the whole running thing plays into his defense. He wasn't really tracking balls down that he should have. He wasn't quick. Like, again, it's just a lot of things that kind of snowballed, which, again, I think maybe I am being a little harsh, but man,
I think
that
you're being
was-
generous,
you think so?
especially being 35. Like it's just
Yeah.
a thing of like,
2 more years on that contract, which
is he just
La-
done?
last year it looked like a good contract. This year, I think he kind of showed his age and his, his inability to kind of, which is no fault to his own, to kind of heal, in a sense.
Mm.
Groin surgery is tough, especially for a guy who relies on his speed. So we'll see what he looks like next season. But going to the off season, I think you're looking at Marte as more of a complimentary piece, as like you'll be happy with whatever he gives you, but
Fourth outfielder. Kind of
right, I don't think you can rely on Marte next year.
Expensive fourth outfielder.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
yeah.
Moving on to the DH. Another revolving door, weird kind of spot, but for all intents and purposes, I'm going to be talking about
The big boy.
my guy, my big man, who can't run, Daniel Vogelback.
I don't know how to spell his name. There we go.
His final numbers looked a lot better than I thought it would have.
Hmm.
I still think he got too long of a leash at that DH spot when, you're looking for power. I was defending Vogelback for a
Mm.
while, but it got to the point where, he was taking strikes down the middle. It was like 3 pitch at bats,
Yeah.
strikeout looking. It was really a tough watch. And he didn't hit a lot of home runs. He didn't slug a lot for that DH role, which was what this team really needed. So I gave him a C minus.
Mm.
But
It's funny. I tried to look him up on Baseball Savant. When I did, it just like glitched out. Like it just said an error. It just
good.
even Baseball Savant doesn't like him.
Yeah, exactly. So I believe he's not going to be on this team next year. The Mets can
Is he a free agent? Or sorry, go.
Yeah, he's
Continue.
in arbitration. So the Mets can non-tender him,
Hmm.
which I think is a very likely possibility and a possibility that I would be on board with.
Hmm.
Again, nothing against. It ain't personal. It's just business.
Yeah. He reminds me a lot of Gallo. Just looking at his Baseball Savant,
Yeah.
where it's like hard hit, average exit velocity, chase percentage, walks are all like elite.
Right.
Like some of the best in the league. But it's because he barely makes contact. So
Right.
when he does make contact, that percentage is going to be some of the best in the league.
Right. And plus, what Baseball Savant can't show you is, sure, he's hitting it hard, but he's killing worms. Like, it's all on the ground. Like, who cares if you're hitting the ball 110 miles an hour?
Worms.
Who cares if you're hitting 110 miles an hour when it's right at the shortstop?
Yeah.
Like, you're killing a whole family. Like, what did the worms do to you? So, he was a great guy, but
Worm lives
Get-
matter.
exactly. Worms life matter. Get ready to learn Chinese. Third base. So started off with Escobar,
Hmm.
then it was Brett Beatty, then it was Mark Vientos, and then.
And that's the issue in itself.
Exactly. So third base was a weird revolving door. Escobar was bad. He was not good. I'll probably give him like a C. I didn't really go much into him. He got traded way before the deadline.
Where'd he go?
He got traded to the Angels.
Oh.
And even then, he was very hit or miss.
He didn't really have that high of expectations, though.
No, but I hate to see him go because he's such a great guy. I absolutely loved his vibe. But going on to, I guess, the more mainstay third base, Brett Beatty was going to be your third baseman this year. And wow.
Yeah.
He was a rookie. Obviously, yeah, he's a rookie. Rookies are going to struggle. I did not think it would have been this bad. It was a very disappointing full year for Brett. he got sent down later down in the year, but man, it was really disappointing. His defense looked a lot better than a lot of scouts said, I will say. But like Vogelback, he's killing worms out there. The guy
Yeah.
cannot lift the ball for his life. And that's his main issue. That's been his issue.
Mm.
And when he was tearing up in AAA earlier this year, he had one of the lowest ground ball rates of his entire
Yeah.
career so far. So it's not. So I feel like there is a
An
way
adjustment.
out. Yes, there is an adjustment to be made, and it's pretty clear on what needs to be made. I'm not a hitting coach. I can't sit here and tell you what he needs to change, but obviously he needs to lift the ball more, get the ball off the ground, because he can hit the ball really hard.
Can I say two things really quick?
Yeah.
Baseball Savant does not like his fielding.
Yeah.
Had him in the 32nd percentile.
Yeah, that's rough.
So that, and then I'm just looking at like his like out or like his hit chart. The amount of hits that he has that are to the second baseman, they're right like here. They
Yeah.
can't see it, but
Yeah.
like.
Yeah. I guess that has to do with the shift or lack thereof.
Yeah, and just like the ground balls, cause like
Right.
what more like about half those hits are really ground balls.
Yeah, probably. Probably.
Like, yeah.
And, he had some flashes when he first came up. He had like an
Yeah.
800 OPS his first, like, couple weeks. But,
Yeah.
I think a lot of this was mental for him. I think it wasn't, obviously the production wasn't there, but I think he wasn't necessarily prepared for what this, being a major leaguer, what
Mhm.
that entails, especially in New York, where you're going to be looked under a magnifying glass. So I gave him an F. Really disappointing, and kind of leaves question marks for third base later, going to next year. Moving on to the next third baseman, Mark Vientos. I gave him a C plus. I feel like it's kind of with like what you said, talking about with Peraza, where he didn't get a lot of playing time, but when he did get playing time, he showed flashes of what he could be.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to say like the last month or so, last couple weeks, he really turned it on. He finished strong and just didn't get a lot of playing time, so C plus. And then the two better kids, I guess, Ronnie Mauricio, he got called up for the last month or so. I was not high on Mauricio. I still am not high on Mauricio. I think he still showed a lot of the concerns that I had. He struck out a good amount, another worm killer. But obviously,
Is that just a hitting coach thing?
I don't know.
Because like if it's like every single guy you're saying is like
Hit-
killing worms,
Yeah,
then it's like,
yeah,
or
exactly.
maybe they're like, they kind of overthought the shift changes.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? Like that, maybe like that, and the like the hitting. I'm saying from like a hitting coach perspective, like, oh, the shift isn't there. Let's try and do that, and then that
Right.
tries like they overcompensate when it's really just a thing of just be yourself, and that's how you'll benefit from the shift.
Right.
But yeah.
But I think a lot of the issues with the ground ball rate was with the rookies, which then makes me question the minor league hitting coaches. Or I guess all of the above, because, they had good minor league stats, but once they got brought up, it was kind
Yeah.
of. So is there.
Maybe it's not a universal philosophy.
I was just going to say
like
that.
the disconnect.
Yeah, there has to be, not has to be, but there could be a disconnect between the minor
There
leagues and
seems
major
to be
leagues.
one.
Right. So who knows? Ronnie Mauricio. See, he was fine. Only played for a month or so. I still am concerned about his on base percentage or lack thereof and strikeouts.
I
But
think that was a little generous to give him a C.
yeah, exactly. But I think that he was fine. And one of the last hitters I really want to talk about is obviously the best rookie out of all of them that showed up this year, Francisco Alvarez. I mean, 21 years old. He came up after Omar Narvaez got hurt in the second series of the season, and he had some sporadic playing time. He was playing behind Tomas Nido for a bit, which is a little frustrating. But he ended the year with 25 home runs. He has some room for adjustments in on base percentage. I would like him to walk more. I 99% sure his on base percentage was below 300.
It was 284.
284. Right. That's not really going to cut it. I mean, he still had a really good year, especially as a catcher, especially as a rookie. His defense was a lot better than I feel a lot of people would have expected.
87th percentile.
Well, that's great. I think
That's insane.
the weakest part of his defense, I think, is throwing out runners,
It's like,
which
I feel like that's the least important part for a catcher. If I'm being completely honest, I feel
Yeah.
like throwing out runners, like,
yeah, I'd rather him be a better play caller and
Framer.
better framer, yeah,
because
better blocker.
that's Austin Wells too.
Right.
Like he's just not that good at throwing out runners, but everything else makes up for it.
Yeah, and
Isn't
ano-
Maldonado Sam? Sorry.
no, you're good, but yeah. And another thing that I not necessarily needs to work on, but he needs to choose better time for it is trying to pick runners off. He likes to back pick a lot.
Mm.
And sometimes it's not close. Sometimes it's a bad throw. Sometimes he gets away from whoever. So I kind of just need to choose the spots, understand the context of the game and where it's at. But besides that, defense was great. And he struggled at first in big moments.
Mm.
And big moments tend to find him. He kind of let it get in his head, I think, a little bit. He had one really bad at bat against Josh Hader where he struck out on like 3 pitches and it was like all fastballs like at his head.
Yeah.
But after that, he had, the game tying home run against the Rays. He had
That's when you were down like 7, right? Or something.
yeah, it was like probably the best game out of this dumpster fire of a season.
Yeah.
And then, he had a 2 home run game against the Rockies and he was and to go ahead home run against the Diamondbacks in top of the 9th.
Mhm.
Oppo against Andrew Chafin. That was a good moment too. But what I'm getting at is he had a lot of big moments, and at first it got to him. But later on, as he got more playing time, as he got adjusted, as he got situated in the major leagues, he was able to slow it down, take it step by step, and
He'll settle down.
he settled down,
Settle down.
and then he has some good moments, and then he had good moments, and great rookie year, A-. Very excited to see in the future. And then some other quick hits I just want to talk about. I mean, we got to talk about DJ Stewart. I mean, he was phenomenal for the past last month, month and a half. I'm going to give him a B. He was great. I know, just because I'm tempering my expectations.
I would have given him an A,
But I think you bring him back next year, not as a major league roster, but as a spring training invite. See if this was for real. See what he has, because I think it was really good. Who else? Tomas Nido was Tomas Nido. He was in the minors for the last 2-ish months. Omar Narvaez was a disappointment. He got hurt
you
in the
were
beginning.
really high on
I
him.
was. He got hurt in the beginning of the year, and I don't think he really ever got on track, and his offense obviously was not there. So that was a bad pick by me. So we'll see where that goes, but that's it for the offense. Now, the pitchers is where I think I'm going to be really harsh and really mean to a few, maybe one person in particular. So we're going to start off the starters, and I'm just going to get it out of the way.
Did he go to a particular team?
He went to a particular team in a particular state that's quite large that maybe or maybe is not playing baseball at this moment.
That's 2 people you're describing.
Yeah, really.
You're describing 2.
I know.
Gotta be more
Well, no,
specific
one
than
of
that.
them's not playing
You
baseball
said
right
may
now.
or may not be.
Fair enough. Anyways, I'm talking about Max Scherzer.
Texas.
Now, I have thoughts on Max. Let me just get this out of the way. I still liked the signing when it happened. He was still good in the season in 2022. He was really bad in the playoffs. He was really bad this year. I do think he made this team more legitimate. That's him signing with the Mets there's more of a notice, I guess, like a statement signing. So, look, he's a Hall of Famer. He is who he is, but wow, was he fucking horrible this year. 4.01 ERA as a Met.
He had, what was it? Am I reading this right?
What?
Wait. 23 home runs given up in 19 starts.
That's bad.
That's horrible.
Horrible. Then he had the sticky stuff situation, and I just felt like it was an excuse after an excuse after an excuse with him. And all he said afterwards, I have to be better. I have to be better. I have to be better. No shit, Sherlock. You're getting
Yeah.
paid $43 million for a 4 ERA when you can get a kid making league minimum that can do the same exact thing.
Yeah.
You know, it was his oblique, and then it was his shoulder, then it was his elbow, then it was a blister, then it was a cut, and then it was sweat, and it was rosin, it was sweat, and it was rosin. And look, and he said some things on his way out that really didn't sit well with me or rubbed me the wrong way. So I'm giving him an F.
Yeah.
And I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Forget about what he said and how he handled things performance-wise. For what you're being paid, for your expectations, absolutely atrocious.
They have a 4.7 ERA with the Mets.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible. Next up, Justin Verlander. He was fine. Obviously started the year injured. That kind of spiraled things, I feel. 3.15 ERA as a Met. Obviously got traded to the Astros.
What are you looking at?
Am I crazy?
Am I looking at FIP? Wait, where's ERA? Why is this being dumb? Oh my god, I was looking at FIP for Scherzer, too.
Oh. His FIP was still over 4, I'm pretty sure.
Let me go back to ERA. Oh my god, I'm so stupid. You are right, he had a 4.01 ERA with the Mets. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
You're good.
I am tired.
It's okay. But Verlander, he was fine. Obviously not what you wanted to sign him for. Not much to say. I feel like he's going to be a good trivia question in a couple years when he's in the Hall of Fame. It's like he played for the Mets for half a season, like not even. So I gave him a B. He was fine. Got traded to Astros. Thank you for Drew Gilbert and Ryan Clifford.
Yeah.
So and thank you Texas for Luis Angel Acuna. I forgot about that.
I will say you guys you had such a good deadline.
I was gonna get
with like
to
the
that.
selling
Yeah.
and but go on.
Yeah, we'll touch on that a little later. Now, you know what? I'm gonna save him for last because I loved him so much. But Jose Quintana, another guy who started injured. He had a 3.57 ERA in 13 games. I think that's perfect
That's
for
Jose
what you signed him
Quintana.
for.
That's better than I would have thought.
Yeah. So I gave him a B. You know, good. He was exactly what you
The
signed him
injuries weigh
for.
that down a bit, but
Yeah, definitely. And I'm glad he's under contract for next year. I think hopefully a full year of him should be good for the Mets. He can, eat some innings, and he's a very solid 4 or 5, low 3, but I really don't want him
Yeah.
being a 3. But
do not be
you
a
get
three.
it. You get it. Carlos Carrasco. Word for word in my notes. Love him, but damn. 6.8 ERA.
Mm-hmm.
F.
He had a 1.7 whip.
F.
He averaged almost 2 base runners an inning.
And the World Series Diamondbacks let him go 8 innings. Crazy. F. Great story. Great guy. I'm not sure how much he has left in the tank. Velocity was down. Spin was down. He wasn't really fooling anyone. Obviously, you always hope for the best for guys.
90 innings pitched and 20 games started.
Yeah.
That's not.
No. Very, very bad. Very bad. I hope Carrasco either can rejuvenate his career somewhere else or, is just retires happily. Again, such a great guy, such a great story, but I think his career is nearing an end, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Then I'm just gonna group some guys together. The David Petersons, the Tyler McGills, the Jose Butos.
That kind of
That kind of conglomerate.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give them a C plus, maybe C. Like David Peterson was
I
horrible.
was gonna say he weighs that down
Yeah.
a lot. I feel like it's a B if you take him out.
Yeah, David Peterson himself, I would probably give like a D.
That's even then.
Just
it's like,
because his last couple starts of the year were really good. And he's fooling me again to thinking he can be a full-time starter next year. But, yeah, you know, you when you're in the position that the Mets were at the end of the season, where you're just piecing things together, you're just looking for bodies to get you through the year, that's what that group was, and they did fine. But to top things off, Kodai Senga. Oh my goodness, I cannot say. I'm speechless. He was so good this year. A 2.98 ERA as a rookie, quote unquote. First year coming over from Japan. Wow, look, the walks were an issue.
I'm surprised he's not getting more love for Rookie of the Year.
I mean, Corbin Carroll's just
No, but I'm
insane.
saying like more.
And plus, I feel like people like overlook him because, you know, rookie, which I also think is.
I do too, but
Yeah, but no, he definitely should be getting a lot more love, regardless of how you feel as him
he
as
led
a
the
rookie.
league in wild pitches. Interesting.
Wild pitches? That makes sense. But again, that kind of goes into it. His command, spotty. Walks were still an issue. But man, when he didn't walk people, when he had his control pinpoint, he's top 20 pitcher in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just so excited just for him and to see how things go in the future. But
I think we agree. I think we agreed on this going into the year that he was either going to be incredible or you were going to, like, it was just going to be one of those years where you just got to be, like, adjusting.
Yeah, definitely.
So you got the incredible part.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which is huge. And I cannot say enough good things about Kodai. I think he was absolutely incredible. He was obviously the best pitcher on the staff. And, man, if he can keep this going, that's going to look like a pretty damn good contract.
Yeah.
But
15 mil a year?
Yeah, exactly. Move on to the bullpen, though. Just want to hit on kind of the big guys. Obviously, David Robertson. I didn't even say Kodai Senga. A plus 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 plus. But David Robertson, gave him an A. 2.05 ERA, 14 saves, 1 year, $10 million.
Do you get anything back when you traded him?
Yeah, they got back like two rookie ball guys, which a lot of scouts were surprised the Mets were able to get from the Marlins. So
God, he sucked with the Marlins.
Yeah, that's the other thing. He was also
506.
really bad with the Marlins. So thanks for those two guys who I don't know the names of because they're like younger than us.
God,
But
that's crazy.
That was great. I gave him an A. Brooks Raley, another guy who more than you can ask for. Not more than you can ask for, but all you can ask for. 2.8 ERA. B plus. He was good.
I thought he got traded.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
Well, how many years did you sign him for?
No, the Mets traded for him.
No, but I thought you then traded him at the deadline.
No.
My bad.
He's under contract for another year.
I
I think there's another
fine.
option,
Yeah.
which is good because I think he is much needed as the lone lefty in that bullpen. He was great. He had a rough start, but really turned it around. Adam Ottavino, not nearly as good as he was in 22, but 3.21 ERA, 12 saves, B plus. I will say, I'll point it out now that he did mention he's not sure if he'll pick up his option for next year, so that's something to monitor. I like Ottavino. I think he fits well with this team, and he's a guy that loves to tinker. And I read an article the other day about him tinkering with, his two-seam and his changeup because his slider is now what a lot of people are calling a sweeper. That, really horizontal movement type pitch.
His slider's on pitch.
Right.
There's not a word for it.
There is. It's a sweeper.
Shut up.
But now he was talking about it. Since so many people are now throwing sweepers, which is like his pitch, more hitters see it, more hitters are adjusting to it. He was talking about how he needs to adjust. So I just love that. Yeah. I love when pitchers talk about their craft. I mean, I can go on and on about it.
He's one of those guys that I think he'll adjust perfectly fine with age.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think age is really going to be that big of a concern for
No.
him.
The only concern I have is the whole holding runners on, which he's never been good at.
He's always, because
So-
his windup is like so slow.
Yeah.
But I don't really.
Yeah. So I hope he picks up his option. I hope he's back next year. And then, you have your Drew Smiths, your Trevor Gotts, your whoever the hell was in that bullpen at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Whatever. The bullpen was a mess this year, I'll admit. But to top things off, kind of how you went over the front office. I'm not going to go into coaches, but I do want to touch on Epler. He gets a lot of steam, especially now. He got a lot of hate and criticism, which I'm not saying was unnecessary or not warranted, but hell of a good deadline, like you mentioned before. I mean, you got Luis Angel Acuna for Scherzer. You got Drew Gilbert and Ryan Clifford for Verlander. You got two.
How many top 100 prospects?
Right.
How many top 50 prospects?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they got at least 4-ish top 10 in their system. New top 10 prospects from these trades. So, I mean,
for guys that were doing nothing for you.
Right. The guys were really weighing them down.
Steve Cohen bought prospects.
Exactly. So he had a good deadline. I will say the only thing I'm kind of question marking was that Trevor Gott trade. I mean, you really didn't give anything up for him, but you did eat a lot of money, and Gott wasn't really great.
Yeah.
Pretty sure he's under contract for next year, so at least you have a body in the bullpen as well. So you have that. He had a good deadline. And now, obviously, he's being investigated by MLB for
bullshit.
Probably. Still not sure how that's going to turn out. He did resign. I still think.
Do you want to get into that?
Not today.
Not today.
Yeah, maybe another time. But good deadline. I think it's going to be a bigger loss than people are thinking with him not being here, especially when it comes to Japanese players. Ohtani and Yamamoto. We'll see how that goes. But Epler did a really good deadline. I gave him a B for this year. And then I just want to touch on Steve Cohen. I mean, I'm giving him a B- because obviously he's just an owner. He just writes the checks. But him being the owner allowed Epler to make the trades that he did. He's eating a lot of Scherzer's contract. He's eating a lot of Verlander's contract. He ate Chris Flexen's contract, which allowed him to get Trevor Gott. But at the same time, Cohen needs to be smarter with his money.
Yeah.
But I think
strategic.
Yeah, which I think David Stearns is going to help out a lot. That's kind of been his MO, getting the most value out of players and most bang for your buck, really.
Yeah.
I think that's really going to help out Cohen. So I gave him a B- for the year.
I was going to kind of say that too, where I feel a lot of people give him an A. Just oh, Steve Cohen, all that. And I think he is a great owner, probably one of the best in the sport itself.
Yeah.
But it is a thing of you have that much money to spend. Yeah, you could spend it, but it would be so much easier to just do it smarter. Because then, so it's one of those things of, that's pretty much it. He is willing to spend all that money. That's incredible. You just got to get smarter with it.
Yeah, exactly. It's great that he has spent the money, but you got to spend smart. You got to spend wise.
And how much money did he get off the books, just based off the deadline alone?
God knows, probably $50 million if I were to guess.
I would think.
Probably. If I would, just off the top of my head, but
I was thinking 80.
I don't think it was that much, but
still, that's still
to
get
a good chunk of money.
You shave 50 to 60 million off your payroll, and you get 4 or 5 top 10 prospects in your system.
Huge.
That's incredible,
especially for next year. But
you still have a good core.
Yeah.
Rotation is
bit in shambles.
But
yeah, but this year was a year.
Overall grade.
F.
I would, but I just think the deadline was so good.
Yeah.
Like I don't.
You don't have that deadline if your players perform.
It's a tough thing because I think what happened with the Mets was what happened with the Yankees. You were bringing up a lot of young kids, so you needed the veterans to perform. The
Yeah.
veterans just did not
Didn't.
perform.
Yeah.
But the difference is you guys got so many new players to like
Yeah.
set up for the future. So I can't. I gave the Yankees a D. I can't give the Mets lower than that. Like
That's fair.
that's just like I'd give them like a C minus, D plus,
Yeah.
like just a tick of the Yankees. But I don't see how overall when you include trades and all that they had a worse year
Than the Yankees.
going into next year than the Yankees. Yeah.
Going into next year, yeah, but I just maybe I'm being harsh, but coming off 101
No,
wins
without those
and
trades, F.
Yeah.
Without the trades, F.
Yeah.
No question about it. But I just think that's
it
so
saves
you
it
have
just a
so
little
many,
bit.
And even the guys in rookie ball that you said they were
Yeah.
shocked they got, like, prospects are a lottery ticket. You just bought an insane amount of lottery tickets for pretty much nothing.
Right.
So
Right. Yeah, for guys who weren't really helping your team.
and weren't going to be on the team next year.
Exactly.
So.
So yeah, I guess you take it for what it is. You take the good with the bad, and you look next year as a quote unquote retool. See how the off season goes, how much money Stearns and Cohen are willing to spend, and
Yeah.
which guys they want and want to see if they can make an impact from the minors. But yeah, very disappointing for both teams this year.
Yeah, for sure.
New York baseball was not a fun watch.
No.
But that is all I have. Would you like any closing remarks?
That was all I was going to say. Just, it's tough because you don't know what's going to happen with the young guys that were up this year. Because outside of Alvarez, I think everyone is like a much bigger question mark than they were last year.
Definitely.
So that's going to be very interesting to see, like, maybe potential trades, stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's why next episode, a little bit of a teaser, is going to be a off-season prediction episode, just what we think is actually going to happen. We
Yeah.
want to try and get that out as soon as possible, just
Right.
so, like, it would be before anything actually happens.
Yeah.
Because some teams are in already preliminary talks with players, so that's something to talk about. But not right now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
But
else?
yeah, it's good to be back. I'm
Definitely.
excited. Reminder that we are on Instagram, we are on Facebook, we are on TikTok, and we upload on YouTube
TikTok.
and Spotify. All under Triboro Podcast. Yeah.
Bye bye. See you in the next one.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.